Oh my god, I figured it out. No way. No! They just folded it. One thing they teach you at university when you're doing TV and film is to dress the set. There. Like, I really hate when you watch videos and like the set of a video isn't dressed properly and there's just shit in the background. It just looks terrible and it's just like lazy. This is one of those videos. Today I had this like plan that I was gonna do this amazing video and it was gonna make me look really impressive and I was gonna get a job, and that's not gonna happen. But oh well, let's make a fun little jacket anyway. Let's at least make this look nice. So I'm a huge fan of Aardman animations, and 3 weeks ago they posted an Aardman Academy class? Yeah. I did originally record an intro explaining the video in more detail, but it was way too long to include in the video. So summary of that explanation, Aardman Academy posted this picture 3 weeks ago, and I couldn't stop staring at it. I thought it was amazing. But I didn't have £200 to do the course, as I explain here. As you can see from this setup, I'm broke, I have no money. Yeah. So I thought, why not do it anyway? I really hope I'm not going to get in trouble for doing this video. So it would be really silly for me in my position right now to spend £200 on another course after spending about 30k on a degree. So I'm not going to do that. So the jacket is made by, as well as the course is run by, Nancy Stott. Or is it Nancy Jones? They list her under 2 different names on the website. I did fact check this and I could only find results for one of the names, so I think it's just a typo. But again, I'm really not sure. When reading through the website's description, I was kind of confused to what materials you would be using. So I assumed when you purchased the ticket for the class, they'd send you out a little like Aardman gift box with like the materials you need and the doll. Like, they can't expect you to have all these materials on hand, surely. I was also confused whether or not you were going to be using machine or hand sewing. Again, it doesn't actually state that you have to have a sewing machine for this class. Like, what if you don't have any of the materials or tools or anything? Can you not do the class? It does not explain this on the website, so I was super confused. Maybe I'm misreading something. Maybe when you go to purchase it, it will tell you. So the main purpose of this video was for me to see if I could actually make this jacket remotely similar to what I was looking at, without any teaching or any patterns or any instructions, whether or not I could make this jacket look similar to the original picture. I was completely guessing the whole time, and I had never made quarter scale clothing before in my life. That I can recall. Maybe I did it when I was a kid, but I don't remember. So because it says it's a 2-day intensive course between 9:30 to 5:30, I wanted to do the 2 days around about that time. So I scheduled to make this on the 1st and 2nd October, which will allow me a few days to edit the video to get it up on the 6th, or at the very least, really early on the 7th. I wanted to get this up before the class took place, but not too early. I didn't want to discourage anyone from taking the course if they did happen to stumble upon my video. So that's pretty much it.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Okay, so this is what I've bought. Bought some red woven fabric. I have no idea what this is called, and I have a lot of it because I'm gonna probably. It was about £8. I also bought this doll. This was also about £8. So I've also bought some of this stuff. I have tons of like stuffing up the top, but this is like a little bit more what's the word, concentrated. It's not like fluffy. It's like it's a bit more easier to manage than the stuff that I have. So I bought some of this. I also bought some of this. This is I think this is fleece. It might be felt. It looks like felt. It's felt. Because I wasn't sure about the buttons. I also bought a polymer clay because, again, I wasn't sure about the buttons. But this has got some yellow in here. I don't like the yellow because, like, it might work. It just looks a little bit, like, dark and not as bright. So I might paint over it with some yellow paint. I might also attempt to do buttons out of this, but mainly I think I'm going to stick with this. As well as I can gloss over the buttons afterwards and make them look shiny and make them look like plastic. This is Flexi Paint and it's great. So this is what Flexi Paint looks like, and this is just I think two or three layers of paint, so way not enough to be done. And this is just sort of a test piece, but it's like super flexy looks really shiny and it's just really fun to use. But I'm gonna try actually to mix this with some yellow acrylic paint and see what happens. It might go horribly wrong, but it might just work, make it look shiny, plasticky, because that's what I want. And I want shiny buttons. I really want to make this now. His hands are also feet. Did anyone know this? Looks like his hand is a foot. So this fabric is stressful. What if I fold this? What if I fold it like this? Ah, I see. That's looking promising. And then that's like that. And then... Oh, you got to be kidding me, is it that simple? Oh my god, I figured it out. No way. No! They just folded it. Oh my god, 3 weeks of my life stressing out how to do this jacket and it's so simple. They've just folded the top. Just doing this, I have so many ideas for costumes. Oh, I can make a superhero costume with this little guy. Oh, you know what I want to make? Just looking at this bit here, it kind of looks like a wizard robe, and I really want to make wizard robes now. Oh, you know what I could totally do? I'm not having my university graduation, so I could just make him a little university graduation jacket. Oh, that would be so cute. I really now just want to make this jacket, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go have some sleep because I don't feel like I can make this on no sleep. I'm just going to f it up, so I'm going to leave this exactly where it is. And I'm going to go to bed, and then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to try and attempt to make a tiny jacket. Yeah. Today is the day. Printed off a sheet of what I believe tuxes are. And I have decided I am going to change the designs ever so slightly. I really like tailed waistcoats. I think they're fabulous, so I'm going to add that to this design. And I've never done this before, so I'm just going to wing it. So I started by wrapping the little doll in the cloth stuff, secured with masking tape. I soon realised masking tape wasn't really great, so I switched to using cloth tape. I was really not sure how to wrap the doll. I started trying to pad his arms and legs and torso like a real person, but then I started to feel like I was taking way too long on the minor small details, so I just wrapped it normally. Once that was done, I covered the whole thing in cling film, and then I covered all of that in masking tape. This allowed me then to draw on top of it with a permanent marker to create the pattern that I wanted. I wasn't working with patterns or templates for this, I was just doing it from scratch. So I'm trying to work out if there's holes in the jacket and then the buttons are on the left hand side and they go through into the right, or if they're glued onto the right and then the right is also glued onto the left. Then you wouldn't be able to get it on. It was quite difficult to tell what they had done for the most part just by looking at the picture. I knew the jacket had to be removable somehow. I could tell from the picture that where the buttons were, that's where it was fastened. Oh my gosh, that took me an hour to do. That's insane, like. Once I had my masking tape pattern, I then cut it off the doll mannequin and then started patterning it on my red fabric. This was then sort of like a draping technique, only I had my dummy pattern first. I'm pretty sure people do this in the dressmaking industry, but they just do their first mock-up on some like cheaper fabric. I didn't need to worry about using it on a cheaper fabric first because I had so much of this red. But I knew I would need to do a first mock-up so I can then tailor it in and cut and trim and add on to the pattern. I knew the pattern I made wasn't going to be perfect the first time around, and I needed to have it in my hands to feel what I was doing with it first. Basically gotten this far. Doesn't look very impressive at the moment. I'm pretty happy with figuring out how things are done. So I got like the collar, and now I just need to cut a few things and then probably make the actual thing. It definitely needs 2 layers. And then I need to go get an iron. So I have my 2 pieces of fabric. I'm going to sew them back to back. The rest of the process was real trial and error, putting it on, taking it off, and making adjustments. It has been about 8 hours. I've managed to get all the patterning done. Basically, I have the front, side, and the back. I feel like I've overcomplicated it because I've like changed the design, and I feel like parts of it is like not as good as I want it to be. And so now it's just trying to get this bit onto here. So then once that's on like that, I can then pretty much finish up the rest of it. I wanted to be able to finish this tonight and do all the fancy stuff tomorrow, but I'm quite tired. So I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and I'm gonna finish this little suit. Yeah. So it is the second day of this video, and I am very hopeful for today. I'm gonna finish this, or I'm gonna be really upset with myself. So I started the second day by sewing the other side of the jacket. I cut out little sleeves and I realized they made little hats, so I played around with the little hats. I used the iron's heat to make the folded edges, and I used PVA glue to stick them in place. I assume there's probably a better way to do that. All these techniques I've never done before, so like I'm doing a terrible job. So this is currently where I'm at outside. I don't think it's too bad. I've definitely done a lot worse. At the same time, I know this is not great. Just remember, kids, when you're making things out of clay, you must smell it at least twice, because that's what makes you a true artist. So I made tiny little buttons out of polymer clay. I wanted to create a little button that had 4 holes in it so I can then thread it, because I really like that type of button. In hindsight, I now think Nancy did 1 hole, because the buttons are so small in her picture, and I could not make them any smaller if I wanted to do 4 holes. I threaded all the buttons while they were still soft, and this was a really fun part. It was a little bit tedious in the beginning, but then after I did like 2 of them, it was really fun. The string also made it so I can attach them easier later. It also made it easier when I was picking them up to put them in the oven and then painting them. While I was doing this, I had the oven preheating, so when I was done I can put them in the oven. I made 2 extras so I can put them in the oven first, just in case anything bad happened to them. I wasn't sure how long to put them in the oven. The packet of the polymer clay I was using had no details on temperature or time or anything. I always find it difficult. I won't know if they're done until they cool down and like harden. I've had it before where I've like put a little clay thing in the oven and I like didn't leave it in long enough or at the right temperature, and it just like crumbled and just kind of like broke away in my hand when I like held it and did anything with it, and I was like, oh, well, that's depressing. So I put them back in the oven to be on the safe side, but then I started making another batch of buttons out of foam clay. As you can see here, the original button crumbled, so I was really glad I made some backups. I put the rest of my buttons in at a higher temperature for a lot longer, and they turned out okay. As you can see here, they look pretty neat. I used a mix of acrylic paint and flexi paint to coat my buttons with a nice shiny yellow texture. I realized afterwards that this was kind of thick and I kind of regret doing it. If I did it again, I probably would just use a regular acrylic paint, something that was really thin, and then use like PVA glue on top of it. I thought the flexi paint was going to be a good idea, but it was quite thick, so you lost quite a lot of detail in the buttons in the end. So to attach the buttons, I used a needle to thread the buttons through the jacket, and then I used a little bit of PVA glue to secure them in place. I used white and yellow thread to do the side bits, and it took hours. I finished it! Is what I originally did say, but for some reason the audio on my camera decided to stop recording. I'm annoyed and also relieved that it did that. Because as you can see here, I got a little bit emotional towards the end of the video. This was because I finished the jacket and I realized that this was, even though the shittiest little thing ever, it was the start of a new journey. The very first costume I made was bad, the very first video I made was bad, and I've come a long way since then. I've been doing costume and character design for about 5 years now, and video editing for about 10. And I'm still not great at either of those two things. So the fact that this little red thing in front of me was terrible, I was emotional with hope because I knew I was going to get better. But I also was emotional because of sadness and fear and worry, because I knew it was probably going to take me 3 to 5 years to get decent at it. So they were really glad the audio didn't get recorded because I looked pretty dumb. I also was laughing because I knew how ridiculous I looked. So that's it for my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you watched all the way to the end. And Nancy, if you're actually watching this video, send me a message. Did I do a good job? I know I didn't do great, but I actually just want to know if anything I did was actually accurate. Also, anyone else at Aardman, give me a job please, because I really want a job. I've applied like 5 times, please.